So, what should we talk about?
New York, going to the gym, social media.
Okay.
David and I have a lot of interesting conversations.
Do we?
Let's find out on this episode of the Martuscello Audio Show. All right, folks, welcome to Season 1 of the Martuscello Audio Show podcast. This is my brother David, and I'm Josiah.
Yeah, welcome everybody. We are back after a hiatus of a few months, and hopefully we're gonna keep doing this for a while. So we're here to introduce Season 1. So Josiah is now in New York, as you can see.
We're both in New York.
Well,
Yes.
we are both here, and if
We are
you're
both
in
here.
New York,
Yes,
then
I
also in New
agree.
York. But
I agree.
that is good to know.
I'm more recent, yes.
Right, Josiah just got here 2 weeks ago.
This is
Not
true.
even 2 weeks. This is his apartment, actually.
This is my
It's
apartment.
pretty
This
sweet.
is my window.
This is my couch,
shades.
though. But
This is David's plum.
we share our good stuff. you
Yeah.
know.
Cook
But
them all.
yeah, we're living in the same building. We have all of our stuff set up, so it's pretty sweet.
It's cool.
Yeah, so we're gonna just talk about basically some of what's been going on and
Yep.
what to look forward to. So
Yeah.
you're in New York now.
I'm in New York.
That's a big deal.
You're
What are
in
you
New
What are
York.
you here for? Why don't you explain?
I'm
it
here
to everyone?
for, all right, so within my, I'm in college, but I have a semester basically set to go on co-op. So I'm doing an internship right now at an acoustics consulting firm, which is pretty cool. So I'm just,
Yeah, and he's gonna be here until August, so
right.
it's gonna
Yeah,
be a
so
nice long
I
stretch.
got like 8 months, 7 or 8 months in the city, living it up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Getting
So
stuff done.
hopefully we'll be doing more face-to-face podcasts.
Yeah.
Who knows what we'll have in store?
Yeah.
Um,
We're getting rid of the messenger video call screen
yeah.
format.
Right.
We decided to move on from that. Hopefully,
That was our format before. So yeah, how
Yeah.
was your first week? Let's just.
it was good. It's interesting because you're coming straight from break, so over winter break you always like lose all sense of time and sense of space and everything.
Right.
Because you have nothing to do, relatively little to do. And now it's like you're back in, now I'm back at full-time working, and it's just so much more structure to what you're doing. It's
Right.
It's a very different, like, lifestyle setup.
Mhm.
I gotta go to bed early, I gotta wake up early.
Yeah, and do you find that to be like? Well, do you find it to be different than jobs you've had in the past, or different
Yeah,
than school?
well-
Like, is it a?
Well, I've never had, like, a regular,
Abrupt
like,
change?
like, it's just, I'm working actually 9 to 5. So it's actually, like, regular hours.
Right.
And given the time that the sun is up, like I'm never outside when it's light out,
Yeah.
which kind of sucks. But like we have windows,
Well, it's also winter, so it's
Yeah, it's
kinda
winter,
like,
it's
that's,
fair.
That's the way
It's
it goes.
understandable. But yeah, no, it's mostly just that it gives like it focuses your routines, so you have to be very like intentional about what you do with your day.
Right.
Whereas like over break, like or even at college,
Mhm.
where like it's a much more like, your classes are kind of like sparsely like throughout the day, and it's
Mhm.
like I got to do homework at some point. With this, it's like you got to do certain things at certain times, and there's not any like place to move them around.
Right.
And
Yeah.
yeah,
You have like an entire block of the day where you're doing stuff, and
Right.
you're just like, I have to be there. So
right.
it's almost like your life is just the evenings.
Yeah, it kind of feels like that.
So but like now you're an intern.
An intern.
How do you feel as an intern? I mean, you've only been doing it 2 weeks,
Right.
but like,
I'm doing
What are your
pretty.
thoughts?
I'm doing pretty like legit stuff,
Mhm.
but it's also like it's not like the. I don't know. It's good. I'm like I've already learned like a ton about how. Like, obviously, you're gonna learn the most in like the first week or two,
Mhm.
but but I've already learned a bunch about like how the system of, okay, basically if you don't know, this acoustics consulting firm I'm at, they basically work on the architectural acoustics of like different buildings and different spaces. So they're focused on like if you have like a concert hall or something, making sure you can't hear like the HVAC system, like the AC in the back, or like make sure the other rooms in the building aren't like bleeding sound in there. And that's a big part of it.
So is
it's
that
like noise isolation. So.
Okay, so that's noise. That's
Right.
Is that like the primary thing, or is it also like? Because I was expecting it to be more about like how sounds echo in a room per se. You know, like
there's some of that, but it's
is that a lot less?
I think I was expecting more of that than there is also.
Yeah.
But it's like that's a little more like dependent on the space, and that's not like the main focus, because really the hard part is, I mean, that's important obviously, but because so many of these projects are like really long things, you know, it takes like 4 years to like do a single, you know, room, like from design to building to whatever, like depending on the room, but like if you're building
they're usually big rooms.
They're usually enormous.
Yeah. So
yeah,
it's not just like a room like this. It's like
right.
Conference
Yeah, it's like,
hall. Or
like a concert hall.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's like they've done some museum stuff. So
okay.
I don't know. I still don't have a huge you know, repertoire of stuff I've worked on there, but it's interesting because you kind of see how much real like detail there is, and it's actually more architecture than I expected, than just like engineering.
Right.
So
yeah, right.
So I've been going over like architecture plans, floor layouts, and like, you know, checking stuff out. And
yeah,
it's really cool.
So how are they involved? Like from the beginning? At what point does your company step in and say we need to start thinking about acoustics?
It's just the. I mean, I don't really know because I haven't seen a full project like go through.
Yeah.
But really, it's pretty like isolated. Like we're not doing all of the design of like a building that'll have the stuff in it. It's mostly just like they're like, oh, you have a room of this space, and you got to make it's they want it to be used for this, so they want like maybe this many seats and this much concert hall space, or this much stage room, and then it's like, how do you kind of fit that and make it sound like they want it to sound?
Right.
So you're kind of like, well, we could maybe do like 400 seats, but you want a balcony, and then you're gonna want like the walls should like kind of go in.
Right. And so you met this guy, the owner of the company. It's a small company, right?
Yeah.
You said, and
the founder.
You met the guy while he was working on your concert hall at
yes,
school.
my own personal concert.
Well,
no, yeah. So I'm in an orchestra at across in a neighboring college in Rochester, and they got a new concert hall installed.
So like what was the guy trying to do there? Or
he was basically he was like tuning up the hall, and he was kind of showing us and showing the conductor, our director, like kind of just how the space sounds, and like how big of the good thing about that place is there's all these like curtain systems like throughout the room, and so you can change the tail of the reverb tail, so you can make it sound really like pretty dead, like it's pretty like enclosed space, or you can make it like a 3-second reverb time, like cathedral sounding.
Wow. And he was like explaining to you.
He was kind of like, yo, check this out, check out this cool thing that you guys have now, like, and he was kind of I think he also went up there to like check on to make sure everything had been done right, because you know, because you want to like double check what that all the doors have been installed right and stuff. For like the sound seals, and that sort of thing.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I'm sure you still have tons to learn because it's only been a week, but like,
yeah,
it'll be interesting to see what you end up working on.
Yeah.
So, as far as New York, like, welcome first of all.
Thank you.
But
I feel like I haven't done anything very New Yorky. Like I haven't.
Well, so let's talk about that. Like, what were your, well, let's just, okay, what were your expectations and how is it clashing with those?
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll go into like what expectations do you still have?
Right. Well, I thought it would be more different. I mean, it's very different, but it's also just like, it is just like a place. I was like, it's gonna be like, colors are gonna be different. Like it's gonna be it's gonna be a new world. But it's just like a really enlarged city. You know what I mean? Like it's just a ton of people and a ton of buildings, and you got to know how to navigate it right. But at the same, like I already have like waypoints of like, I mean, I have a commute, so like I go to the same places every day, and it's already like, oh, I know this place. It's not like a big like looming mass of metal and concrete and cars that it has been previously, where I'm just like, yeah, I don't know, I guess I'll like walk in like a direction and hope that my destination is there.
Yeah, you kind of adjust pretty quick.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, this is the route, and you know, I recognize it.
And I really like the.
I think people who come here just for like a vacation or a weekend or whatever, it's kind of overwhelming because it's everything's new, and you're like, whoa, that's a big building. Whoa, this is a you know weird.
It takes you like a day
stairway,
to acclimate. Well, maybe more than a day, but it takes you a little bit to acclimate. So like coming for a weekend is like you're like just getting used to it, and then you're like, oh, now I'm back to like wherever I lived before.
Yeah.
So
no, it's amazing. Like in my experience, how it feels like home now, and it feels like this is my place and my.
Right.
I know all the buildings. I know what they look like. I know
interesting how quickly
what the sidewalk looks like.
Right.
You know, like I know where the bumps are, and where the little sewer grates are, and you know, like
right.
It's like I know the street. This is my street. You know.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, because I've been here for like a year and a half or so.
Yeah, right.
And
how long have you been in this building?
About a year and a half.
Okay.
Yeah,
because you were originally in the Bronx.
Yeah, I was in the Bronx for a little while, but, and that's where I got used to like taking the subway and stuff. But yeah, it's amazing how it's almost second nature at this point.
Right.
But also,
I think
the thing people, or at least the thing I didn't expect before coming here was like, you think of New York City as like one place.
Right.
But it's this giant place, and you're never going to even see all of it, let alone be experiencing it all at once. Like, you're just in your little street. Like, you know what I mean? And I know where the shops are that are close to me, and then other than that, you know, I'll go places to do certain things. Right. But, like, most of the time, you're just experiencing your little slice. Right. And so it's almost like I don't live in New York City. I live on 86th Street and Broadway. You know what I mean? Like,
and in the subway, and
you know, and I go to school at NYU, which is in this little part.
Right,
and, and it's like it's like this connected area.
Just what your brain is like rendered.
Right. Yeah.
It's like you got like if you were to look at a map, it's just like a little like blob up here, and then it's a line, and then it's a little blob down here, and you're like, that's all I really know, and that's all that I need to know.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, and then you know I've been around a decent amount. Like I know the neighborhoods in general, at least, you know what I mean? But it's like, yeah, those aren't in my cache. They're, you know, they're deep in the hard drive, you know, so I only pull those out once in a while, but like, yeah, most of the time I'm just in my little world, and it's probably, you know, not that different than you would expect, you know, like that's how it works. You know, it worked when I was living in Troy. It was basically, I have my house, I have the shops nearby, and then I have my route to work, and I have work, and, you know, that's where I spend most of my time, you know, other than like, you know, exploring. But
yeah, I mean, even at home, even in Saratoga, like, there are parts of town where I'm like, where, like, I don't even know if I'm in Saratoga right now. It's like, oh no, you're just behind that building that you know really well. It's like, oh wow, I didn't. Right. You never see it, so it's not even in your.
Yeah, it's weird how map. You can explore in a place that you're already familiar with. Like.
Yeah. Well, but it's interesting. What's I forgot what the name of the phenomenon is. Where you overestimate how good you are when you're new to something.
Is that Dunning-Kruger?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Dunning-Kruger effect.
Yeah, that's
so it's like
the graph that like spikes up initially, where it's like, I think I'm really good, and then it kind of like levels out as you learn more,
right?
Because you're, the
right.
idea
is basically as you learn. Like I've just started to learn New York, just to have a little slice of it, and I'm just getting, used to it now. But I'm think like, oh yeah, I already like know what I'm doing. Like I like walk across the street. I'm like, yeah, you cars, you got to stop for me. Like, what do you do? It's like like an asshole.
Right. It's like, but I'm a New Yorker now.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm a New Yorker. It's like, shut up,
yeah.
for a week and a half.
Right.
But it's like, I already feel like I know it, even though I know I don't know it like at all.
Yeah.
I've been on like 8 streets total in a week and a half. But I mean, I'm hoping, as far as what I'm like hoping for in New York is just like, I mean, you always hear how it's like, New York is like, there's always something happening. It's like, well, then I feel like the goal should be to always be doing something. Mm-hmm. I don't think I've been doing that so far really very well. Yeah. I've played some video games. Played plenty of video games, really. Like, I'm like, I get home from work, I'm like,
you don't think,
I want to sit down. Like,
you don't think of New York as a place where, like, normal things happen. Like,
yeah, it's like, what, you sit on your couch and play video games? You're in
TV.
New York.
Yeah, I know. You're like, you could do
anything.
Go to Times Square, everything's happening,
Yeah, you could be eating pizza all day. It's like, that sounds great.
Yeah.
Like,
but yeah. That's
so that's one of my goals is to get better at always doing something. Doing something.
Yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily,
I don't know, do you know what I mean though? Where it's like, I think I should spend less time at home. Sure. And like, spend more time like at a coffee shop. Like even that's not really doing anything, but it feels more like you're doing something. You maybe see somebody and be like, oh.
Yeah, in my experience, it's kind of like,
but it's too big.
I have to, if I want to do something, I have to kind of like force myself to explore, because you can get by just staying in your neighborhood.
It's amazing because that's really true of anywhere.
Right.
And it's actually true of everywhere, because
well, that's kind of what I'm getting at overall, is that New York isn't that different. It's just
it's not fundamentally different.
There are way more people, so there's inherently more things going on. Right. There's more restaurants, there's more opportunities for, business and and whatever you want. There's more of it. Just because there's more people around, but it's when it comes down to it, it's still just a place where you have to figure out, okay, what's the fun stuff to do, right? You know what I mean? Like people say, like, I have friends on Long Island, and they're always talking about how, like, oh, there's nothing to do on Long Island, like we go bowling or something, it's like whatever, like the suburbs suck, but like, you're still gonna have to force yourself. Like if you're in the suburbs somewhere, you kind of gotta like make up something fun to do. Like, okay, first we'll go see a movie, and then we'll meet up. Ones were invented. Meet up. Yeah.
It's like, what are we gonna do? It's hot out. It's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Spray some water at each other.
Right. But I mean, like, you can still find stuff to explore. Right. Like, you can be like, let's go ride our bikes to this mountain, or let's go, down some alleyway we've never been to, or go to some.
Let's get mugged. That sounds great.
You know what I'm saying? Just like explore and like try things out.
But it's amazing because,
and I feel like hold on. Okay. I feel like some people make the excuse that, like, oh, there's nothing to do around here, or like, this place is such a bum. Right. And it's like, you can feel that way in New York, and I have felt that way in New York. It's like, oh, I don't have anything to do, or like, and it's really like, yeah, because you're kind of just doing what you always do. Right. And you have to say, okay, we're going to do something new. We're going to go explore. We're going to go push our comfort zone, and like, go to some part of town that I don't know if there's anything cool there. Because
Right.
only if you take those risks do you find something new.
Mm-hmm.
If you only go to the place where you know everything there,
Yeah.
you're just gonna find what you know. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you got to change it up, and I don't know. I think it's just that's like the part of what
Yeah.
part of what I didn't expect from
Okay.
coming here.
Yeah. That's interesting.
So yeah, do you have any? I don't know. Do you have any specific like plans for things to see or like that you've heard of, like
As far as
or like activities that you want to do more of while you're
I want to
here?
like see more music.
Yeah.
Because music is like the everybody's like, oh, it's got a great music scene. It's
Yeah.
like, well, I haven't seen any music. You know,
Right.
I've only been here for a week and a half, but
Yeah.
like I haven't seen any music. I haven't
Mhm.
even like walked by any music and been like, well, there were some dudes playing outside Grand Central today, and I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah. Yeah, there's some
dude
good
on the keys
busking.
and the
the-
busking's
It's
that's
high
been all-
quality.
yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. There's actually
For the
good-
most part.
there's good stuff.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, definitely the music scene. Because, like, I feel like it's almost guaranteed. Well, no, it is guaranteed every night somewhere in New York, in Manhattan, there's a show that I would love.
Yeah.
It's like, how do you find that show? Like, if I could do that every night, I mean, I don't have that much money,
Yeah.
but, and I'm not 21 yet, but,
yeah.
like, if that's even, like,
Those-
a thing, like,
yeah.
geez,
Well-
once a week seeing a great show would be, like, life changer,
Right,
like,
right.
just,
Well, I mean, right there, those are the two, well,
Those
maybe
are the-
two of the biggest obstacles.
Right.
It's like,
Money.
money and like, if you can't go to
can't drink.
bars,
I know,
then
it
that's
sucks.
that's a big thing. But
give me a couple months.
a couple months you'll
Months. In May,
be good.
once it's warm out.
But anyway,
But yeah, that's like just more music. I feel like I haven't seen. Well, I always feel like I haven't seen very much music lately, but I haven't. So I gotta see some shows. Just kind of like feel it out.
yeah,
I think I want to do some open mics. Like meet some people who are like, oh wait, I suck too. Because in New York, everyone. In New York, I feel like in New York, everyone makes you feel inferior. So you gotta just go, and it doesn't matter. Like you can't compare yourself to
Yeah.
other people in New York,
Right.
because like there's like billionaires, but there's also like homeless people, but there's also like
yeah. There's
really
everybody.
really talented people who don't have any money but are really great, and there's also really there's like every continuum that you can value yourself on.
Right.
There's people at every end of it.
Yeah. So if you have
So
a
like
problem with
if
comparing
you're trying
yourself,
to compare yourself with other people, then it's like you're gonna swing wildly between
well, no,
whoever you see.
it's more of like, if I'm always focused on people that are better than me, you're gonna find plenty of them here. You know what I
right,
mean?
right.
But
Yeah,
if you
that's
always
true.
want to, if you want to find downtrodden people too, like
Right.
they're all
Yeah,
over the place
plenty.
too.
Yeah.
But to feel good about how lucky we are and stuff.
Right.
But like,
Yeah, that's a good thing to take out of it, is like gratitude.
yeah, there are a lot of people in the city who are just barely scraping by, and it's kind of like
I'm
all right.
I'm sitting on a
You know,
couch. I'm pretty.
I don't get to go to every show, but like
Yeah.
I get
Yeah, that's
to.
true. That's probably a good way to look
I
at
get
it.
to have
That's
an
definitely a good thing.
unlimited subway pass, and like, right there. That's
And I'm
the
drinking
luxury.
tea at all.
Yeah,
so.
like we got nice apartments in the Upper West Side,
Upper West.
so it's like, yeah. But I mean, that's a big thing that I've had to deal with in New York. Is like everything costs more.
Yeah.
So even though there's a lot to do, you can almost do less of it.
Right.
And I'm a student, so I don't have any money. I'm
Right.
just living off EJ,
Yeah.
and so yeah, the budget doesn't
Yeah.
have a lot of room for entertainment. So
Yeah.
like we have to be wise about our
Yeah, I was
spending,
just
when we're gonna
thinking
go out
today
and stuff.
that I need to make a budget,
Yeah,
because I was like, I had like a very rough one, but then I was like, oh, I bought food the other day, and then I just went grocery shopping today, and I don't have any money in
Right.
like 4 days from now.
yeah,
So, gonna have to bust out a budget. But
right. Yeah, we don't have a very good budget because we're constantly like,
Right.
something comes up. I'm like
Right.
having to pay for tuition every once in a while, and
Right.
like
yeah, I'm glad I'm not. I don't have to pay for
yeah. So
tuition
that's good
well.
for you. Like you'll be able to budget pretty easily because you've steady
I have very
expenses
I
and
have
steady income.
Yeah, it's pretty clear what I want and what
Yeah.
I am earning.
And there's
So,
only one of you, so
there's
you
only
can
one of
kinda,
me.
like,
That's true.
manage yourself easier.
Yeah, I can't steal money for myself. Well, I can, but
Right.
I'll know about it.
Yeah. So yeah, money has been the biggest factor as far as affecting my experience in New York. As far as like, I you know, there are a lot of things that I would like to do in New York,
Right.
but it's just like, yeah, that's a lot of money. You
Yeah.
know what I mean, so
Yeah.
it's kind of a bummer in a sense. But
Yeah.
I'm just like, I just got to make it through school, you know, and
Right.
then I'll
Yeah.
be able to enjoy all this
Right.
stuff that I've been seeing
All
and not
these-
able
all
to.
these sushi bars. And,
Yeah, exactly. It's like, wow, that looks like a
martinis.
cool restaurant, and then
Right.
it's like,
Oh, shit.
maybe someday I'll get to go
Maybe
there.
someday I'll have $20.
Yeah. And so, yeah, me and EJ were talking the other day. EJ's my wife, for those of you who don't know. And we were saying, what did she say? It was like, she's like, oh yeah, I can't wait to, or I really want to go to one of those musicals, you know, these Broadway musicals. Like, we've been here for so long,
Right.
we haven't seen any.
Right.
And then it's like, do you think we'll be able to? And I was like, yeah, maybe like, you know, when we come back to New York after moving away to Boston,
Right.
because the current plan is she's going to Harvard, and you know, I have a bunch of student debt too. We don't have any money saved to like pay for this stuff, so it's basically just gonna be like me, hopefully with a good job, paying for my debt and her debt at the same time. It's like, yeah, I think we're gonna
Best
be
of luck to you.
like this for a while, and it's like, yeah, when our kids are teenagers, we'll move back to New York, and then we'll finally get to see a Broadway show.
Aladdin.
Yeah. Be like, this came out 20 years ago, like when we were here. Whatever. Like, so
That's funny.
that's kind of like
that's
the embodiment
that's
of our
a bummer,
experience
but
here.
it's
Like,
funny.
it's like we are here, and there, you
Right.
know, there's definitely cool stuff that we've done,
Right.
but like, you know, you don't get as much of it as
Yeah.
if you're a professional here, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, EJ is, but you
Right.
know, she has me. So.
You're gonna have to start selling body parts.
Yeah. Well, I kind of need those to get a job, so
Yeah.
probably can't.
Apparently, I've heard this. You can. I don't know how it works exactly, but you can donate blood, but like get paid for it if you're like a certain blood type.
Probably if you're.
If you're like O negative
O
or
negative.
universal donor or something,
Yeah.
you can like get like $200 for like a pint of blood. It's like a couple weeks, you can come back and another $200. Like that's a pretty good deal.
$200?
Yeah,
I think it'd be like $10. People would still. Do
it might not be $200. It's maybe like 40,
Yeah,
but like
give
you know.
50 cents. Like, all right.
But
I
the
got
thing
plenty.
is, like,
I'll make more.
I don't know what blood type I am, but like, do you think you would do that? Like,
Yeah.
go like
Of
once
course.
a month and like give some of your blood.
I mean, I
to-
think donating blood is nice.
Yeah,
so
that's
like,
true.
if you get paid for
you
it,
get paid for it. It's nicer.
nicer. Maybe I might actually do it. I mean, I've done it a couple times, but it's always like, I would, but I
Right.
don't really wanna, and I could be doing this other thing.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I think the only I tried to do it in high school, and they said I didn't have enough iron. They were like, "You're anemic,"
Oh, really?
and I was like, "Really?" I thought I was fine, and then I was like, "Fuck."
You should use that excuse
Well,
for the
no,
rest of your
no.
life.
The worst thing, yeah, I haven't done it. Since. I,
mean,
haven't
hey.
tried since.
Yeah,
so
right,
whatever.
Right.
They called me like 1,000 times, but no, but I remember they made me wait in like the line for like an hour, and then I got there and they like pricked my finger. And, oh, you're anemic, so you can't do it. I was like, what? Like, I just waited. Like,
Because it was their first time. I guess because
Yeah,
I've done it
I think-
before they have me on file. or
yeah, they
whatever.
must have you.
Yeah.
I don't know,
I guess that's how it
but
works.
so I didn't, and then I was just pissed off for the rest of the day. So I was like, I think I got one of the stickers anyway though. I was
Oh.
like, I'm taking. The
Hey,
sticker.
then you can get the cookies too, right?
Yeah,
Like,
I got
the
like
sticker.
some Fritos or something.
Oh, there you go, man.
Yeah, but like I was like I wanted to be able to feel good about like donating some blood, and they just made me feel like a
Inferior
anemic
blood person.
you know, iron deficient
My,
plebeian. I don't know.
I'm not good enough even to help people who are
Yeah.
dying.
Okay, anyway, let's talk about what we're going to the gym tomorrow morning. We're
Yeah.
gym folk. We're folk
gymming
of the
it up.
gym now. We just
Josiah especially. Josiah
I'm trying
was
to
working
get.
out
I'm
all-
trying to get David going to the gym. I'm trying to get me going back to the gym too.
Yeah,
But
Josiah worked out all last semester. So
yeah, so I'm Arnold Schwarzenegger
he's on the
now.
way to bodybuilding
Bodybuilding.com.
competitions all
Yeah.
over the world.
Yeah. So, but yeah, let's talk about that. Like,
So
tomorrow, yeah.
we just
so
got a membership
Right.
at Blink Fitness.
Yep.
It's like
Cheapest gym you can get for 2 people.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's all about the money.
Yeah, but it's pretty nice. I mean, they had
Yeah,
everything we need. It's a big place. Even at, the busiest time of the day, we had stuff to do. I mean, it was crowded.
Yeah, it was
but-
pretty crowded. They
but,
didn't have
like-
an open free bench, but
But, like,
they had machines, so we made
still
do.
Found
Yeah,
a spot.
yeah. But yeah. So that's one of our coming goals.
Yeah,
for the
Josiah kind of dragged me
semester.
into this.
Yeah.
so-
Well, David, I think David would look really good buff. So
yeah.
we're gonna get
that's-
buff together.
That's probably true, but
It's-
you never know until you try.
Maybe you'll get
So,
buff and you'll look awful.
Yeah, I'm worried. man. I was like,
Well, you gotta
taking a
don't knock
risk
till you
here.
try it.
yeah, like what if my muscles are just way too big?
They're
Like,
just way too
you're like,
big.
what did
They're
I do
just
about this?
encumbering your motion.
yeah, you never know.
Gotta
Like,
do yoga then.
man.
We should do yoga. We
Could-
said we were
could
gonna
be
do
a
yoga
problem.
today.
Well, so what are your like why are you working out personally? And it's okay if you give vain reasons because I think
Right. Yeah.
personally that's kind of my reasoning.
Yeah,
too.
I mean, it's a fair bit of it is like, yeah, I want to look good. I want to
Right.
look more buff and want
Sure.
to look manly.
Yeah, your
But it's
appearance.
like, it's also like, okay, over the summer I read this book called, was it called Blink? No, that's a Malcolm Gladwell book.
Yeah.
It was called something about, jeez, I should know what
Yeah,
it's called.
Remember you
It
mentioned
was a book basically about why exercise, and it wasn't really talking about weightlifting, but it was why exercise is super good for you in 28 different ways. And it was
Right.
going through it went through why it helps with aging, why it helps with learning, why it helps with your sleep, why it helps with all these different things
Right.
hormonal stuff. So so I read that, and I was relatively aware that exercise is good for you in every single way it could be good for you. It's how it's what your body wants to be doing. But I read this book, and then I had a bunch of backup. I had reasons to kind of adjust how I thought about exercise. And so I tried to do some stuff over the summer. As I was reading it, I was I came up with a calisthenics workout plan that I kind of stuck to. And then once the semester got going, me and my roommate Dan were going to the gym all the time because he's been going to the gym forever. So it was the first time I'd ever been in the gym often, and it was really good. It was it was also because I was a complete noob to it, so I progressed really quickly,
Right.
and it was this is awesome. This is it was super fun,
Yeah. So
And
why was it good? What did you experience in that time?
it kind of just it makes you feel like a badass. You're
Uh-huh.
you're in the gym. There's some super buff people, but there's also people who are really skinny, and they're and you're like good for you, man. Me too.
Yeah, like
you,
you, right?
yeah. There's so
Yeah.
so it was but especially because it was the only time I'd ever gone to the gym, really, and so and I was eating a bunch, so I was gaining weight, and I could tell.
Right.
I was I look better already. Within a month and a half, I was wow, I can actually tell I've been working out. That's never happened before where I'm visually rewarded for exercise. You know what I mean? Because when you're a kid, you do soccer or whatever.
Well, I think when we worked out in the past together, I definitely noticed the difference, but
Right.
I didn't put on enough muscle because I wasn't eating enough, and
Right.
I didn't realize how important that was.
Yeah.
Even though I think I ate more and I probably gained some weight, but
Right.
it just wasn't enough. You have to push
Yeah. Well, it's amazing how
your diet.
Well, this is something I got from. I did a bunch of research on Reddit because Reddit has become my new like resource for not like facts but like
Opinions.
yeah, like opinions.
Sure.
You know, it's like how do I get the best, the most reasonable, or the most you know, the main opinion that everybody shares about this topic. It's
Right.
like, well, ask Reddit because it's just that's all what it is. So I basically just looked into Reddit on like how to all this like fitness stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like what do I do? What should I work out? Like when, what, how, who.
Sure.
And so, and like everywhere on the internet, they're like eating is or diet is like 80% of it. And I was like, okay, well, I want to gain weight, so I just ate like a shitload of food, and it was great. It was like, you know, I mean, I had already been eating quite a bit of like eggs, but now then it became like a daily, like every day, 6 eggs and whatever else,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, and then lunch, and then maybe second lunch, and then dinner, and then maybe a protein shake,
Yeah.
like a ton of food, like
Right.
obnoxious amounts of food,
Yeah.
but. And I'm lucky enough that I've never been like I haven't gotten fat, you know.
Right. Well, I think if you're working out, everybody's
well,
different.
but just like before that, like I've never been like
that.
fat, you know.
Yeah, right. We don't have a problem with that.
We have you know, I think it's
in
just
our genes.
a lot of genetic
Yeah.
you know, benefit there, or not benefit, but
I think it's a benefit.
good fortune.
Sure. Yeah.
I'm trying to say, in that like I've just never been fat, so it's
Yeah.
like I didn't worry about it. I didn't feel bad that I was eating a ton. It was like, this is great. Like
Right.
I love eating
Yeah,
stuff.
I know.
This is
we're
fun.
we're really lucky in that respect.
Yeah,
I think a lot of people.
and but it's amazing because like it also like pointed out to me how much you need. Like you can eat a lot of food,
Mhm.
and if you do, it makes your changes how you're shaped. You know what I mean? Like obviously, but like with working out and eating so much,
Yeah.
it has an effect. Like it's
Right.
and it is almost that simple of like if you want to gain if you want to gain a fair amount of muscle, like just eat a ton of food and then like work the muscles a bit, and they know what to do, you know.
Mhm.
But yeah. So that was my like backstory on getting into working out
Yeah.
in the past like year.
Yeah.
or
So hopefully, I mean, we'll keep it up and we'll get ripped this
yeah. I've
spring
been
and summer.
the last 2 or 3 days I've been tracking my calories, and it's like
Mhm.
I gotta eat. I still haven't eaten dinner, and I gotta drink a bunch of milk
Right.
and a shake.
So what's your calorie?
Right
what's
now
your calorie goal right now?
it's like 3,200 calories,
Okay,
which is quite a bit.
that's a lot.
But it's more doable than you think.
Uh-huh.
Like even right now, I'm a little hungry. It's like
So like,
if we weren't recording this right now, it would be like, okay, why don't I just eat a bunch of food right now? Because I'm a little hungry. You
right.
can fit a lot of food in you, you know. You go to the bathroom a little more, but like, you know, never hurt
Yeah,
anybody.
it's right there.
Yeah, it's right there. It exists. It's you know, I got the key.
Not that much time out of your day.
It's not that much time out of your day. Eating
Hopefully
and
not.
cooking,
Especially
is
if
more
you have
time.
enough fiber, you know.
Yeah.
That speeds it up too.
Yeah. But what about you? What's your reasoning? I don't know.
I
if
mean,
get a
I don't
straight
have
answer,
I don't have as like clear of a
but
plan
I'm
as
trying
you.
to force you into it because
I mean,
I've been having
you know,
a good time.
I'm excited to do it too.
Right,
It's more
right.
of just like I'm kind of feeding off your willpower a little
Right,
bit,
right.
you know, which is
Yeah, it's fine.
definitely good.
It's fine.
You know, it's definitely a good thing.
Right.
And I think, you know, that's always better is when you have two people
Right.
who have a plan, because
Yeah.
then it's like you're not reliant on like the whim of how somebody feels that day. It's kind of more of like,
it's not like I don't
this is
really
the
want
plan,
to.
we're
It's
gonna
like,
do
no,
it.
they're counting on me to be up and be
Yeah.
ready to go to the gym. And it's
exactly.
Like, yeah.
So,
That's
I mean,
good.
as far as why I'm doing it, it's mainly health, and then
Mhm.
like also so I don't look like super skinny.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know, like I'm too skinny
Yeah,
for
you're
my
too skinny.
for my height and stuff. It's like I gotta do
By
something about
by season 2 of the podcast,
it. Yeah, we'll do a
we're gonna
before and
we'll
after,
do a before
maybe.
and after photo where we're just jacked.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, so I have been eating a lot more, and
Yeah.
that's been.
Do you
That's
feel like
been fun,
do you feel like you've
actually.
acclimated to it? Because I think
Sort
it's,
of,
I think it's
yeah,
amazing
like-
how much. Like.
How quickly you adjust. Yeah,
How
like
quickly you
like
adjust.
2 days ago, I was just like eating a ton the whole day, and by like the end of the day, I was like looking for food. Like,
Yeah.
I was like looking for more food to eat. I
Yeah,
was like,
you're just like. your
why am I
body's like-
hungry? I just
yeah.
ate a crap load of
Yeah,
food all
yeah,
day.
yeah, yeah.
And it's like,
Well,
because
and
my
it's
body's
amazing,
like,
it's amazing
okay.
how little food you can eat too. Like, I mean, I feel like both. It's probably just like we grew up that way, but it's like,
Yeah.
you know, there would be days where it's like you have a bowl of frosted mini wheats and then like you don't eat till dinner, and it's
Yeah.
like, how am I alive right now? There's like it's like 40 calories of sugar in that thing, and then
Right.
like I'm eating pasta and meatballs for dinner. Like, what's
Right.
happening here?
And your
How am I
body
alive?
learns to like,
But you just put more stuff in
manage.
it, then your body's like, oh, okay, I can do that.
yeah.
That's
it's-
what I'm here for. I turn food into shit. Like,
I mean, it's incredible like how flexible we are
yeah,
in like so many different ways. Like
yeah,
you can eat a little bit and be fine. You know, like operate
Relatively.
normally.
yeah,
You can eat a ton and be fine.
relatively.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like you can push your body like as far as working out too. You can just sit around all day
Right. Or
and like
people
not really
run-
notice that.
There are like super athletes,
Well, like-
who've gone from being like,
yeah,
these-
yeah. But what I'm saying is like, first, you can be pretty sedentary.
right,
Like, my life in general is pretty sedentary with
Yeah.
school and like during the semester, it's basically traveling to and from school is
Yeah.
my exercise,
Right.
and then I'll go for a run occasionally just to like
feel
feel like I'm
feel alive,
Yeah, yeah,
feel like
yeah.
a human.
you know, and but like I don't notice that like I can still handle my life. You know
Right.
what I mean?
Yeah, there's
not like
there's
I'm
such a
like,
range
I'm
of like
dying,
what you
like
can do. Right,
yeah,
right.
and but then at the same time you can work out every day for 2 hours a day, and like
and be alive.
you feel-
you feel great. You feel better,
yeah, you feel better.
that's the weird part. That's
Yeah.
what's weird about it.
Yeah, yeah.
But
It's like the thing that's harder to do makes you feel better. I guess that's how it
that's
usually
like
works.
life.
but-
That's like the deepest
right,
stoic realization.
right, right.
But yeah, so I'm excited about that. I think I'm like last semester I was like pretty committed to like, you know, I was going to the gym a lot, and I had my roommate was really, you know, helpful in being like a touchstone of like, how much are we going to the gym? It's like, are we going to the gym tomorrow? And he'd be like, yeah, and I'd be like, okay, I guess that's happening.
Right.
You know,
So
sweet.
you better be ready.
It was like, you
'cause
better be
we're
ready.
gonna
And
do
I was
it.
like, okay, I guess I'll eat a ton of food,
yeah,
you know. And I'm trying to get back on the bandwagon. And I mean, the past couple of days I've eaten a lot, and we went to the gym
right.
twice in the last week. We're going tomorrow morning,
Yeah.
so
Yeah,
early
crap.
bed, early rise.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it'll be good.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's definitely a goal. I kind of want to see. Well, this is kind of what I was talking to you about last night. Like, I want to see how strong I can get. But also, I don't know if that's a reasonable thing to like wonder, because I probably could. Anybody can get really buffed if you do like a ton of work and a dedication and time.
Yeah, it's not like you're gonna find out.
It's not like I'm
what
gonna
your
get to a
limit
point
is.
and then be like, oh, I did it. But it's like, I guess it's more like I want to see how much I will actually do.
Like how much improvement you make,
Yeah.
like percent change.
Yeah, like, can I like get to a point where people are like, "Wow, look at that buff guy"? Is that within my?
Of course.
No, obviously it's within my like
Uh-huh.
physical. You know, it's possible, but like,
Is it within
would
your
I actually
lifestyle?
do that? Like, maybe if I could actually do that, or like if I would be willing to do that,
yeah,
let's do that. That'd be awesome. You
Yeah,
know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah,
It's like a different that's only something I've thought of in the last like,
uh-huh.
6 months, where it's like, if I wanted to, that's something I could do with my life, is like
Right.
get like buff.
Yeah. Do you feel like thinking about it in terms of the end goal is
It's probably not the
is
right way to
helpful?
think about it. I think it's more important to think
Why
about
not?
it
Why not?
in a routine kind of way.
Okay.
Because if you think about it in terms of end goal, then like once you get to the end goal, and you're like, yeah, I did it. Now I'm gonna eat some ice cream, and then you just you don't like keep up with it, and you're like, well, now I'm buff, so I'll go to the gym a little
but
less.
You're never.
Exactly.
There's not really an end.
Right.
But what I'm saying is like, does thinking about that eventuality of like I will be a totally different person,
That's
that your
probably a better way to
motivation?
think about
Is
it.
that your motivation? Like, is that what?
Yeah, I think that is a decent part of the motivation. Is like I want to like see like be okay because everybody knows it's healthy. Like exercise is healthy.
Right.
Lifting weights makes you better. Like it makes you more capable. This is how I was trying to think of it. It's like it's like I want to be a more capable person. It's like, well, that would if you're physically more capable, that affects the way you think about yourself and affects the way you act, and then it affects the way people see you, and then it kind of ripples out from just like being physically what you can do to being like socially how people see you. Like that's a big deal. You know what I mean? If people see you and they're like, oh, he looks fit, then they're like, look at you like a totally different person.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
And also it's
are.
actually affecting your brain because
right. That's like
produces
it's like a
hormones
bonus.
and
Yeah, there's all
endorphins
these
and stuff.
weird,
That do
all these
crazy
weird
stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's
Chemicals.
In that sense, it's like hard. It's hard to have an excuse to not do it.
Yeah.
It's like, but strangely enough,
Well, that's true.
when I have
and you still don't do it.
when I have fitness on my list, as far as like my priorities list, it always gets to the bottom because it's the thing that's like, it's like this is the long term benefit.
It's like well, if I do it
not
today,
urgent, so
it's
I'll
not,
just
I can
off.
also do it tomorrow, and it'll still be
Right.
a thing that I can do.
But like I think, that's probably just an excuse.
Yeah.
Really. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm not saying that in like, I'm saying that about myself. I'm not saying like, don't make excuses, mister.
Right.
I'm more saying like, that's me making an excuse every day when I say like, oh, I have a lot of homework to work on. It's like, but if you worked out for, a half an hour right now, you'd probably be way more productive the rest of the day.
I've been doing that all last semester. Like before if there were a couple days where I had a bunch of midterms on one day, or I had like 2 tests on one day, and then during finals week it was the same thing. Where I had like several finals on the same day.
Yeah.
And it was like me and a couple of my friends would do this. We would study for like whole morning. Get to school early, study, and then like 30 minutes before the exam starts, you're like, I'm not going to learn anything new in the next 30 minutes, even though that's when you learn all of the exam.
No.
And well, that's when you that's when I always find myself making like huge realizations. I'm like, these are the same things. Like, you're like, this thing we've been doing here is just the same as this. And you're like, wow.
Right. Depending on the topic, that can definitely happen.
That happens to me like every exam without fail. Or like I learn something about the topic.
I think that's indicative of a bigger problem.
Or I learned something about the topic during the exam. I'm like, oh, I didn't even realize that was that formula. That's so much easier. I'm like, sweet. That just saved me 20 minutes, Yeah. No, but anyway, we would do it where like you study for a bunch, and then you're a little like brain melted by then. You're like, I need to like chill. So we'd go out and play frisbee and like make sure you really run around, and then you're all sweaty before you go to the exam, which kind of
that doesn't
sucks.
sound good.
But like you feel better and your brain works better. Like there are like all these studies that are like if you work out for 20 minutes for the next 3 hours, your memory is better, and you like have what you've done recently is retained better. Like there's all this stuff. It's like you should go for a little run around the building before you do a test.
Is it that short of a time span, or is it?
Yeah, it's like it's something like 20 minutes of activity.
No. What I mean is, like, do you have to? Is it good to do it right before? Because like I don't necessarily feel good right after I work out.
But it is basically right after you work out.
It's like
it's kind of like
it's everything.
I mean, from what I understand, I could be wrong, but it's like
mellows out.
Yeah, it's kind of like you have like a couple hours where it like just makes your brain work better,
right?
Yeah. And it's
but
really
still
that's like such an interesting.
Still has cascading effects on the day, like
totally.
Because if you have a good morning, then you tend to take that momentum into the day.
Well, I've that's kind of how I've been trying to think about it. Is like a routine kind of thing. It's like you should be building exercise into your daily routine,
Right.
because then if you exercise every day, you'll, like, even if it has a tiny effect on your day each day, like it'll add up.
Yeah.
And if you just like knock it into place every day, I'm going to do something, or I'm going to get up early and do this little, I'm going to do 5 push-ups. It's like, well, the 5 push-ups will turn 10. You could do this, and every day that adds into like a really good trajectory that you have yourself on, and it's just better, you know. And it almost eliminates the need for you to be like, should I work out today? It's like, well, it's not even should I work out today. It's just, okay, I'm working out now.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's no, once you build
you
in
don't
your
make it
routine,
an option.
it's not an option. Yeah, it's just like, well, and it's not even
this
like
is what I do.
It's not even like you're so disciplined that it's not an option. It's just like, no, that's what I'm doing. Like I have an hour here, and that's.
Yeah, it's like
it's like I'm walking to the gym right now because that's just what I do in the morning.
Yeah.
So I'll be at the gym, and then what am I gonna do? I'm gonna work out.
It's like you wake up, you take a shower, you eat breakfast. Like
right.
I do that every day. Just
just put.
And I don't have to think about it very hard. You know,
Right.
it's kind of like
okay,
let's do it.
And I've been trying. I've definitely developed a more of a route in the last like 2 years. In the last year, probably, like I've developed a routine much more consistently than I have in the past. Like I eat the same breakfast every day.
Yeah.
Which
that's really good.
Yeah, it's really good, dude.
Yeah.
It's a great breakfast. I eat either somewhere between 6 and 8 eggs.
I gotta start
and
doing
somewhere
that.
between 2 and like sometimes up to 5 pieces of bacon.
So let's rewind.
And then maybe some veggies
let's
and the eggs if I'm
rewind
feeling
a couple
adventurous.
hours to sleep.
My evenings are the hard part.
Evenings are the hard part. And
Evenings
that
are what I
affects the
suck
morning.
at.
So do you set an alarm for the same time every day, regardless of
roughly
what time you went to bed?
It kind of depends. I think I should be like more strictly consistent, but also I don't think it really matters because I always give myself plenty of time in the morning. Like I always wake up early.
Naturally.
Not naturally, but like if I'm setting my alarm, like I never set my alarm for like a half hour before I have to leave. It's always an hour
so
and a half.
you're saying you set your alarm.
I set my alarm early
based on
I do. Yeah. But sometimes it'll be like, well, I need the extra 15 minutes because I went to bed 15 minutes later than I should have.
Well, what I'm more talking about is like when you don't have school to go to or work to go to.
Then that's when it sucks. That's why I didn't get anything done over break.
Right.
It's because it's just like
right.
You watch YouTube and
so do you
Netflix
set an
in the
alarm?
evening. Then like if it's that kind of thing where it's like I don't have anything to do the next day, then I set an alarm to get me like 8 hours of sleep or 7.5 or 8. Because that 7.5 is like the sleep cycle thing.
Right.
So I do like 7 hours, 45 minutes, and then I fall asleep for the 15. And then sometimes I feel bad that I went to bed so late or something. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna fix my sleep schedule. I'm gonna wake up early tomorrow and feel crappy a little bit, but like I'll take a shower and wake up and take a nap tomorrow.
Yeah, drink some coffee.
Yeah, drink some coffee and I'll get through it. I'll just have a little bit of sleep and it'll be fine. But what inevitably happens then, well, not inevitably, but what often happens then is I sleep through my alarm and then I sleep way too late because I stayed up late. And then I almost have like, it's almost like I have permission to stay up late. It's it's 1 o'clock. It's like,
you're saying,
you know what? I'll just wake up early tomorrow. And it's like, well, now if I'm going to wake up early anyway, I can stay up to 2. And then I stay up to 2 and then I sleep till 11. I'm like, shit, and then my day is ruined.
Are you saying you sleep through your alarm because
I set it too early and I was asleep and I was like, fuck alarms,
But because you didn't have anything to go to?
Partially, yeah. Yeah, like if I had something to go to, I'd wake up. I'm pretty good about.
It's more of like
I don't really
have to go up, so that alarm can be ignored.
Yeah, that alarm was just me trying to discipline myself, and that doesn't matter. So I'm asleep. Why would I do that?
Yeah.
So but evenings are the thing. Well, it's interesting. Okay, I recently read a book called The Willpower Instinct, which I wasn't as amazed by it as I thought I would be. Like I heard good stuff about it, and it was all right, but it was a little too I don't know, but it was all about like how willpower, like it basically went through all these different experiments that have been done in willpower and like ways that you get tricked into losing willpower, or you like fool yourself in different ways about like, oh, I'll do it later, but it's like that's not really true, and that's just you, and you know it's not true. Like that's you know, it's a bunch of stuff like that,
right?
Where it's talking about like you tend to have less willpower when you go to sleep or whatever, you know, like and some like neuroscience about it. But the thing that stuck out to me is like the idea that in the morning you have more willpower than you do in the evening. And I don't know if this is true for everyone. I don't remember like the study that was done, but basically, and this is something I've noticed in my life.
That is definitely not true for me.
No? See, because for me, it's like spot on. Like throughout the day, I just get less and less. Like it's like, well, the idea that's brought up in the book is that you kind of have a reserve. You have an amount of willpower, and you can use it up.
And I think about that sometimes and wonder if that makes any sense. Like I wonder how do they measure that and
yeah, it's
how
a little
relevant
shaky,
is it?
I feel
you
like.
know what I mean? Like
yeah,
it almost feels like there's way more variables than just some kind of depletion. It's like what just happened, and that's going to affect the next hour. And
well, but there's I think the basic study that was done was basically like they have some people come in and they like force them to, or they like put a plate of cookies on the table and they tell them like don't eat the cookies, and then they leave the room for 10 minutes and they're like fresh baked, they smell great, you know what I mean? They're like don't eat any cookies, and so then they have to use some willpower to not eat any cookies. Like, you know, they're just in this room with this plate of cookies. You think they really counted the cookies? Maybe they didn't. Maybe I can have one. You know what I mean? And then they come back and then they make them do some other thing, like another like willpower test where it's kind of like, are you gonna cave? Are you gonna do? I don't remember what the second one was, but I remember the cookies because I wanted one. And like the people who were told not to eat the cookies in the beginning, they like failed the willpower test like outright. Like they sucked at it. The second one, right? And there were other people who were allowed to have some. They were like, oh yeah, if you want, you could have a cookie, and they would like eat a cookie. And be like, cool. Yeah. And they like didn't at all. It was a little more controlled. Yeah, it was probably more. It was probably more well placed than that. But but the idea was basically like, if you just had to use up some of your willpower for probably a host of reasons, like you think like, well, but I was good then, so I can be bad now.
Well,
you know what I mean?
So part of that is it's ignoring what makes something use willpower, and I think that's the key in my opinion, is like something you can do the same task on 2 different days or in 2 different mindsets and have a totally different experience with that thing. Like sometimes I'll do homework and I'll be like, all right, let's do homework, and I'll just do homework.
Oh, I'm never that way.
Okay, but that's possible,
right?
And like you've never had that.
Yeah, no, I have.
You've had that before,
but like
it's rare, obviously. But like, yeah, most of the time you're just like, I don't want to do homework. You put it off, and you're like, I'll do other stuff. I'll do chores. I'll do anything.
Right? Yeah, you're right.
But like, that just points out that like,
people are complicated.
It's not just about. It's about your perception of how hard something is, more than it's actually about like, this is actually a quantifiably hard task.
Right.
Like homework isn't quantifiably going to use up this much willpower. It's more about like,
well,
am I thinking of this next task that I have to do as something I want to do or something I don't want to do?
Right.
And if you're in the don't want to do, then you're going to have to use up all this mental power and like, you know, going against your body systems to like say, no, we're going to
sit down
this.
and put the pencil on the paper.
You know, like resisting all your urges. And I think it's, you know,
That's an interesting way to look at it.
Your urges are real things like hunger and stuff.
Yeah.
But like you can overcome them. And that's what we're constantly doing in our day is like, you want to go back to bed, but you're not allowed to right now. So, you know.
So you get up.
You just force yourself.
Right.
And
This is
But like, if it was something you wanted to do, then maybe, you wouldn't have that adverse reaction. Or like,
right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't really. It's kind of a loose thought in my mind.
Yeah.
But it's just interesting that you can do the same thing and have two totally different experiences with it. And that's
Right.
something that happens to me all the time.
Yeah.
Like
washing
the dishes. Sometimes like, all right, let's wash these dishes, and like you feel good. But it's like it depends on if you're thinking of it as
work or as
work,
well,
or as
it's always work.
Yeah, it's more of like, is this
sucky or not?
Is this bringing me someplace? Is this like me pushing myself towards a clean house, or is this me being forced, by the tyranny of my brain,
chaotic room,
to do what I don't
what
need to do. Yeah, what I have to do.
Have to. That's what you always do. You see the dishes and you're like, oh, I have to do the dishes, and then you're like, well, I don't have to do the dishes. I could just sit down.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a necessity. Nobody's gonna die. You have these justifications that come up, but yeah, that's a good way to think about it. But basically, what I was getting at earlier is like,
sure.
In the morning is when I have all my willpower.
Okay.
Basically, it's like throughout the day.
So what do you mean
by
by that? Like, given what we just talked about, what do you mean you have a lot of willpower?
I have the most motivation to like do stuff, and like I prefer to work out then. I prefer to like that's when if I'm gonna do the dishes like after a meal, it's gonna be after I do breakfast. Like I made breakfast, I ate breakfast. Now I'm doing the dishes. It's like it's gonna be a good day, and then it's like the evening. I made dinner. I'm like fuck dishes. Like why would I do that?
Yeah.
Just put them.
But
over
you
there.
You don't think that's more of just you're tired?
Well, yeah, but I think that's part. I think that's
okay.
it. Like I think it comes out as willpower,
but that's kind of different then, right? Because it's not willpower depletion; it's just energy depletion.
Yeah, well, it's not
of like
literally.
I don't have as much.
It's not a literal. Yeah.
Like I need sleep,
Right, but it comes out in the form of, well, I don't have any willpower to do this thing.
What I'm getting at is, on days where you use a lot of willpower, like you force yourself to do homework all day,
Mm-hmm.
Is it harder to do dishes at night? Or if you just
Maybe.
what if you just like watch TV all
depends.
day, and then is it harder to do the dishes?
Yeah, that's an interesting.
Because I would almost say like
the day
if you don't do anything, you have no momentum, and so
right.
Unless you start like panicking, which I do a lot. Like if say I waste my whole day, what often happens to me is I'll like realize it at like 4 o'clock or like at some time in the evening.
Like it's getting dark out.
Like crap, like my day's almost over and I didn't get anything done, and then I'll have a really productive evening.
No, see, for me, it's
because I force myself to.
Usually
I'm like,
it doesn't.
I like
when that
enter
happens,
panic
usually
mode.
it doesn't work.
Oh.
I have like 5 minutes of being productive, but I get overwhelmed by how many things I should do. I should have done, and I'm like, I should have done this, and I should have done this, and I'm like, this would have taken a whole day, and I'm like, oh, that's why I had the whole day, but now I wasted the day, and then I'm like, I took the trash out. Why don't I sit down and watch YouTube? You know what I mean?
Right. So yeah, given your explanation of that day, there's no willpower depletion. You had willpower.
Yeah.
Like you didn't deplete any of it. You didn't do anything.
The willpower depletion is probably not the best way to think about it. You're right.
Yeah, I don't.
But
think that's.
But makes
sense.
If I'm gonna have a productive day, it basically only ever goes down. Like that's what I'm kind of getting at. It's like it's rare that I like have a bad morning where I don't do anything and that I like get more stuff done later.
Mm-hmm.
Like usually it's like if I'm gonna have a good day, it starts good and it keeps going good and then it stays good. Can you relate to that?
Yeah.
Like if I had a good day,
but
it was a cause and effect thing. It wasn't like it was so bad that I just turned it around. Like,
See,
that doesn't happen often, at least.
That's
Pretty
another reason why willpower depletion doesn't make any sense. Because you think, oh, like I did a crap ton of stuff in the morning, so at night I should be all depleted and not want to do more. But no, if you had a good morning, you're probably going to have a good afternoon and a good evening.
Well, no, I'm saying if I have a good evening, it's because I had a good rest of my day. Yeah.
Exactly.
Right, but it's
not because you saved up all your willpower or like.
Yeah, I mean,
you know
it's not.
saying?
Yeah, it's not like a.
Well, the reason I bring it up is because I've heard of that willpower depletion theory, and it's like. I think is not at all how I've experienced life.
I think it's more so trying to explain the like.
Well, it's explaining a behavior.
More like you had some. You felt good about the fact that I had a good morning. It's like, well, I can slack off a little bit then. It's like I already was good. Now I can chill out. I feel like that's the mechanism that explains the idea that you have some willpower and you use it, and then you're like, good, sweet, awesome, I did it. Now I can sit back, relax, and waste my time.
Okay.
You know what
I mean,
or like I get to be rewarded for the fact that I was good, so now I can.
Sure.
I don't know if that's
I agree with
really
that.
what's being said.
I mean, like, I know that obviously happens, and that's
Right.
probably what's happening in those experiments. Is
Right.
like, they're like, well, I was good in the last test, so this one.
Yeah.
How much do I really care about
Right.
being good?
Science.
Whatever, like.
Right.
It's like,
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. I think those experiments are bogus. I mean, I should look into them more before I say
Okay.
that. But like, what if you gave them a reward after they used up their willpower? They'd probably be like, oh, if I use my willpower, then I get a reward. And then the second test, they would also use their willpower. You know what I mean?
Well,
it's just
yeah.
On the first test, they realized, oh, that willpower was just bogus because it wasn't worth it. I could have just ate the cookie, and nothing bad would have happened. You know what I mean? There's
right,
no consequences,
yeah,
so that's not like real life.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't remember the.
Yeah, I'm not
exact
criticizing
stuff in
you.
it,
It's
so.
more of just like.
But.
Yeah.
Where were we getting at?
That's interesting.
Willpower in general. Oh, routine.
Routine. Yeah. So.
Do you have any routines?
No.
Okay.
I mean, like sometimes I do.
Right.
But I don't really have good routines.
I don't have good.
Which is a
eating
big
routines,
problem
that's the thing.
that I have. Is like because. This might sound like, I don't know, weird, or it's a little embarrassing maybe. It's like part of my philosophy is like it's more about the little steps that you take in day-to-day life than like today I'm gonna like read the whole book, you know.
Right.
It's like no, did you read some of the book today and then you read
Right.
some tomorrow and then you make a habit.
Yeah.
And that's like a good way to live your life and a good way to get things done. Is like the person who can do that will get way more done than the person who works out super hard today and then doesn't work out for a week.
That's why that's why the routine is better.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
what I'm saying.
Okay.
I believe that very strongly.
Oh,
that
okay.
routines are important.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I am very bad at routines.
Right.
So it's like that's
Right.
what's a little embarrassing. It's like well, I would like to share all of my brilliant routines, but really I'm terrible at them. Like,
Yeah.
like
Well,
like sometimes I'll do it for a period of time or like,
Yeah.
a week I'll be, on point.
Yeah, I definitely I like cycle through having a routine.
Yeah.
But I want to get the gym as one of them. That's
Mhm.
why it's
Yeah.
because I did this past semester and I was like I'd never done it and I was like, oh, this is I go to the gym like regularly now. It's like, how did I do that? What did
Right.
I was just trying to like think about like what did I do that like let me or that like that showed me I could do that. And I was like, oh, I just was like, I'm gonna do this every day, and I
Right.
did it well, not every day,
Yeah,
but
it's like you
I'm gonna
expected
do this
yourself.
like 4 days a week. It's like
It's like you
it's almost
expected
like you
yourself
just
to
decide.
succeed.
You're like, this is what I'm doing now. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
like what are you doing tomorrow?
Well, but a lot of times there's an expectation that you're going to mess it up eventually.
Right.
And that almost
Well, and you do
gives
end
you
up
an
messing it up.
excuse.
That's the thing. I drank
Well,
all
yeah,
this tea. You didn't have
that's why
anything.
it's your expectation.
Right.
Is like, well, I usually fail at this, so
Right.
I'm probably going to fail eventually. And then when you
fail, you're like,
when you
perfect.
mess up
That's
once,
what I thought.
when you mess up once, like, you know, I missed a day or I missed a week or something, it's like you almost forget about it because
Right.
it's like, and you have an excuse. You're like,
Well, especially because
I stopped
your
that
default
thing.
is not having the routine. Like the routine is until it's a routine. The routine is the like anomaly. The routine is the
Right,
thing
but
that has to be different.
I'm more saying even when it's a routine, you can lose it pretty quick.
Yeah.
Like a lot of times when I find myself failing at my routines or like falling out of step is like at big life changes. Like I move or I, you know, end a semester or start a semester.
Yeah.
Or like that's usually like a big turning point.
Yeah, because
So I feel like if you could get really good at like getting back on a routine,
right.
or like noticing when you stop a routine,
Sounds like mindfulness.
maybe, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I bet that is true. Like, because if you're really paying attention to
How you're feeling and what you're doing, what your day to day, what your moment to moment experience is.
yeah,
You can be like, why do I feel crappy? It's like, oh, well,
yeah,
when was the last time I felt crappy was the other time that I wasn't doing my routine or that I wasn't doing A, B, or C. It's like,
oh well, I more so meant like if you're being mindful, then you'll more quickly notice like, oh, I didn't floss today. That's the one I'm working on
Right.
at the moment is flossing.
Okay.
I flossed for like the
All right.
past 2 weeks,
I flossed
pretty
when
good.
yeah.
and I'm like, okay, yeah, it's just the thing I do, but like I had that like a couple months ago. I was doing it
Yeah,
every day,
yeah,
and
me
then you know I think it was like Thanksgiving break or something. Like, you know, I went to Thanksgiving break. I didn't
Yeah.
have my floss. I
Yeah,
got back, and then it was just
Yeah.
no, I don't
that's,
floss.
That's the annoying thing. Yeah, you're right.
So like that's what I'm saying. Big events, like
Setting changes. I think that's the big thing.
yeah,
Because I specifically I think it was this semester or this moving here, and when I moved into my last apartment in Rochester, for this past semester, I like put a note in my phone.
make sure that's not blocking your face.
Yeah. But I put a note in my phone that, you know, like a reminder that said like, hey, you're gonna be in a new place soon. You need to like the first couple days are important.
Yeah,
And I think that's really true. Like the first couple days are important in that you have to set up good. Those first couple days you have to be really good because that's your first impression of the place.
Yeah.
And that's the first time your brain is like, what am I doing? What is happening in this?
yeah. What is this place for?
Where are these walls at? You know, I mean, your brain is still like getting an idea of the space, and it's like it's an association with like, oh, I'm in this apartment. This is the color. This is where the windows are. It's like, oh, I woke up early today. Like
Well,
there's even just
Sure.
just a little association of like, I did these things today, and this is where I am. It's like, okay, next time I'm here, maybe I'll do those things a little easier.
Yeah, but
And-
I would say it's the fact that you're assigning a habit to a place.
Right? Yeah, exactly. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Like when I get home to this apartment, this
Right.
is what I do.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
exactly.
like it's encompassed
yeah,
in
yeah.
in your interaction with the place. Just like
Mhm.
when I get to the subway, I swipe my card. Like you don't have to like
Yeah.
be
You're
like,
not like,
I
oh,
forgot
what am I
to
gonna do? They
like,
got this turnstile thing. Like,
Yeah, like what do I do here? Like, oh, I think
yeah, I
did I bring my
guess I could-
card?
yeah, that
It's
would
just like,
probably help.
This is what I do. You
Yeah.
know? So yeah, that's
Yeah. So, but I did that specifically. When I moved into that new place and when I moved in here,
yeah.
and it was good. Like the
Mm-hmm.
first couple of days of each place, I was like, you know, I woke up early. I like made a good breakfast. I don't know if I meditated here. I've been meditating, but I think at the other place, I don't know if I did. But it was, you know, I was good about like keeping everything clean. It was was good. And I had like a couple good days. And, you know, of course, then you fall off the bandwagon for a bit. But it's a little easier to be like, all right, no, this is where I am. This is good. And that's what I was saying to you the other day is like, whenever I'm home, all of my like good habits and stuff just go down the toilet.
Yeah.
Because it's like, especially because your whole day lacks structure, you know, because it's like, I'm home, I got nothing to do. Like, what do I have to do today? I don't know. I could sit around and eat cereal.
Yeah.
I
got 16 hours to do whatever I want to do.
Yeah.
You know?
Or more, because I apparently don't feel like getting enough sleep in my life.
Yeah, and then
like,
I can stay up.
I got 20 hours.
Keep watching
Sweet. It's
stuff.
like, oh, great. I feel like garbage because I only slept a little bit.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah, it's almost like, if you had something to do, or something that you could do no matter where you are. Like, I guess meditation would be a good one, or like stretching or something. Yeah. Where it's like, it doesn't matter where I am. When I wake up, I do this. Or like, you know, after lunch, I do this. Or I go for a walk. You know what I mean? And then it's like,
or just before bed, I do this. You know?
Right.
And
or like,
for a while, I was trying to do it with push-ups, because push-ups you can do them anywhere. They're always good. Yeah. But they're also
because then that setting thing wouldn't have as much of an effect.
But yeah.
So yeah, that's some cool stuff. I mean, like,
I think those are the things that are on my mind.
It's a very
right
big
now.
part of life is like this battle between what I should be doing and what I want to be doing. Yeah, and like there's a really
and
then it's
quote.
like what I do automatically is like, you know,
right. Where is that?
Is there too?
Yeah.
So it's like,
and you
being able to
it's
wrangle
like what
all
I do
of
automatically is the thing that you want to be moving. It's like you have a scale from what I want to do to what I should be doing, and then there's the what I do automatically. And it's over here somewhere, and you want to like slowly move it over here. So it's like automatically every day I'm doing what I should be doing. Yeah, I mean,
and then also
that's what the routine is for. The routine is there, so it's just you wake up and you do what you should do, and you're like, oh great, that was awesome. I didn't even have to try. Right. You know, I just did it because that's what I do in my morning. Right. So.
Yeah, because I think naturally it's like
naturally
you tend
you're like,
to
what do I
automatically
want to do?
what
like,
you want to do.
That.
Yeah, because you're like hardwired to just, oh, I'm hungry. Let's go find food. I'm tired. Let's
good
sleep
thing I have
now.
a cupboard here. Look, that's got food in it. I'll just sit down and eat the food out of the cupboard.
Right, but I mean, like evolutionarily, like you're kind of just hardwired to do what you want to do. You know what I mean? But like,
and follow your you have like impulses in your you have feelings that come up that tell you what to do. It's like, oh, I'm hungry. What should you do? It's like, oh, eat something. Like, well we're in an environment where like eat something doesn't mean what it did like thousands of years ago. Eat something means go over there and pick up that food and put it in your face. Whereas eat something in the past was like, you got to run 30 miles and be very precise and throw it. It's like,
or
that's
like
a completely different.
Go do some really complex cognitive task to find the right
like
type
set
of
a
berries.
Trap or whatever, whatever.
Well, I don't think they knew how to use traps back then.
Berries, whatever.
Yeah, it's just like, I got to look at all these leaves to find the right edible one.
Right,
and like,
right.
Like it's like really hard. You got to spend hours.
Right. Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Food. Yeah, that's a big one.
Well, that's cool.
That's why. Like.
Well, maybe it's like you have to set that up for yourself. Like, just
like
live in the woods. No.
Yeah,
like,
dude.
no, like
That's
just make it like, oh, I'm hungry right now. That means I got to do my hunt for food activity, which is like run a mile around my house, and then
that could work.
And then I get to eat at the end.
Well, it'd be super inconvenient.
Wouldn't
That's
that
the
be
thing.
weird?
Is like, if you're gonna do that, you might as well live in the woods and have
true.
Wi-Fi. You know what I mean?
All right, let's just live in the woods. It's settled then.
Dude,
there's
a pretty big part of my. I think I actually should live in the woods.
Hey,
that's the thing.
Why not?
I'm not gonna. I don't think I would really like it.
Yeah.
But I think it would be the right thing to do, which is not
the right thing to
like not like morally, but just like like
You
every
would feel
time,
good about
every
your
time
life.
I have my phone in my
You'd
hand,
have a good life.
and I find myself looking at it. I'm like, oh, what happened here? I'm like, oh, that's so, and I'm like, I shouldn't be doing this. This is not where I should be. You know what I mean?
You should be out in the woods, like
out in the woods, like
where's
starving
food?
and like dying of bear maulings. You know what I mean?
No, you don't want to be dying.
Yeah, I know, but
You just want to be struggling. Like,
yeah,
have challenges and stuff.
exactly. So that's really should be,
and have
that should be
fulfillment.
That's where your fulfillment comes from,
Yeah.
is challenging yourself.
Yeah.
Which sucks because it's hard.
Well, that's interesting. Like, wow. Like, the difference is we have to make up our own challenges now because our life is so freaking easy.
Yeah.
It's like, I can just sit on the couch all day. And your body's like, okay, let's save energy.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's just sit on the couch and absorb
it's
information through the TV. But, like, you have, if your body needs challenges,
right.
and so you have to make them up. Like,
like, oh, I'm going to the gym. It's like, why are you going to the gym? What are you getting done there? It's like you're picking up a weight and then putting it right back where it was. What an idiot. It's like, yeah, I know. I need something to do. Like, otherwise my arms are just going to do nothing and they're going to fall off.
That's what you have to do if you have an easy life where you're not worried about dying all the time.
The trade-off of civilization is making up our own shittiness,
Yeah.
making up our own difficulty.
Yeah.
That's
super
deep, man. But that's how it works. It's like, what are you gonna do? It's like, well, you got to do something hard.
Yeah.
And that'll make you feel happier. It'll just make everything work better.
Yeah. But, like, that's a good way to explain it, I think, is like,
the food is a really, really direct explanation.
We don't have any problems now, so
generally.
Yeah, we don't know how to, like, our bodies aren't designed to have no problems.
Yeah. Your body
like first world problems, like,
yeah.
You have to make up real problems because you just have stupid problems, like, I didn't get any Facebook likes, or like things that are like, I mean, okay, that probably is more of a social problem.
Those kind of problems also, like, the new problems we have with the reason social media is like its own thing that's like dangerous is because in the past all of our social interaction has been face to face, like historically.
Right.
Not all of it, in the last couple thousand years, maybe not. But, like, you had, like, birds sending messages and stuff. But, like, like, we're evolved to be, like, talking to someone, and it's like, you can see what your you know your relationship to them because you know them, right? So you don't have to, like, guess at anything. It's kind of just like, hey, I'm looking at your face, you're looking at my face. I can tell stuff about you because of that. Mm. And you're only going to say things based on what my face says and, like, what we're, and it's a completely different environment if, like, you see, like, oh, what's her face is, she's rich and she's on Instagram and I follow her and nobody follows me and, whatever. It's like, it's all of these, like, these built-in programs that we have to be, like, stressed out when we feel like we don't have friends. But it's like... Right. These aren't. This is a little, like, electronic box you're holding. Like, that's not. It's not really related to friends. Like, you're not.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like,
it's
a big abstraction, and you're like, you're not really doing the social thing that your brain thinks you're doing.
Yeah. Okay, so let's hold that thought.
Okay.
I'm gonna go stir my soup, and I'll be right back.
Stir the soup.
All right. So you were saying?
All right. So basically, my point is that social media is not a good analog for what we generally, what we've evolved for socially, right? So social media doesn't represent the social environment correctly in a way that's healthy for us. So that's why you have issues where people are jealous of each other on social media and they spout, like, threats to one another, is because you're not actually face to face.
Right.
So you lose you lose a ton of the interaction in that different medium.
So ideally, what we would want is something that's more tailored to what our instincts tell us, and what our instincts are gonna Well, maybe and maybe not, because we
I
do
don't know
have
if- I
some
don't know
bad
if tailoring
instincts.
it even would work, because like the social.
Well, okay, so it depends on what you mean by work. Like,
Right.
I'm saying if we could replicate exactly what the conditions were that we evolved to deal with, would that be a good thing? And I'm saying maybe not, because it would also promote things that we don't necessarily see as, or things that aren't good, in quotes, but would have helped us survive in the past. So, like, murdering somebody had some applications in the past. Now it has no applications unless it's a war.
Right.
So,
Well,
what I'm saying is, like, there are some things we want to shed and some things we want to retain.
Right.
And I would think that's how we want to create our
Technology.
our social spaces online, is like,
Right.
let's make them as similar to what we're evolved for as possible, while trying to mitigate our bad tendencies.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's the right thing to be considering, but I don't know if it can be done.
Well, whether
effectively
that's feasible
through-
is a different
Yeah,
thing. But
yeah.
like, do you agree with the
I mean,
notion?
I think that's where social media has gone wrong now, I think, is that it doesn't correctly line up with our programming of, like, we're programmed to have basically know like 150 people. It's like there's some that's like it's like Dunbar's number or something. I don't know if it's Dunbar. Somebody's number is 150, and that's how many people you can know.
Yeah.
Effectively, who you can have real relationships with.
Yeah.
And that's because historically you only knew 150 people, because everyone was spread out.
Right.
So I don't even know if, like, it might be a limit of the human mind or of the current programming we have that prevents us from having a good online social network that incorporates huge networks of people.
Right.
Like, we might need to put get some CRISPR in here and put in a gene that makes us easier to talk to more people. I mean, that's it's more complicated than that, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
We might have to modify ourselves to work on this scale, because we've never had to work on this scale before, and I think that's why there's a lot of these. That's why there's I think a lot of mental health issues. Like, a lot of people have there's more anxiety and depression.
Okay.
And I think that's probably related to how different the social environment is.
Okay, so
than it's
this
ever
this
been.
all connects to the idea that we were talking about how we need to act differently to be happy, because our environment is different.
Right.
We have to act differently than our body is designed to act, in a way. Or no.
Our
That's not it.
environment, we have to act. We have to treat our environment as though it's
Right.
the environment it used to be, but even though it isn't. Right. So
Or we have to try to
still have to get exercise, even though we don't need to exercise.
Right.
Like, based on the civilization we've made, you don't need to exercise. You can live. You're going to be able to eat if you don't exercise. But exercising it's internally, like, in the individual, it's important to exercise. But as far as the way that the structure is built, there's no need to exercise, because we bring food to you. You pick it up on the app.
So we have to navigate our current environment while meeting the
evolutionary
needs of our body.
Yeah. In our minds.
Yeah, that we were designed for.
That we have
in a different environment.
yeah. So the weird question is, like, why didn't we just stay in the environment we were built for?
Well,
Like, are we actually
that's-
going to be able to attain like there's kind of the argument that people aren't really happier than they used to be. You know what I mean? Like you look at like hunter gatherer people in the Amazon.
Yeah, well, I would argue
they're happy. You know, why is our way of life better than
I would
theirs?
argue that's fine, but that chicken has flown the coop a long time ago. Like it's like society is different now. You know, we can't bring our whole family out into the woods to live, and also you can't live out there alone. Like you need other people. You need. We're designed to be collaborative
we're very
species.
social people.
Like yeah, so
social
it's like that's not really relevant. It's like, can we go back? I would say no.
But it's an interesting. I think it's an interesting question. Like, are we going to be able to make a better? Well, I think we are. I think long term, yes, we can make a better environment or a better collaboration of environment to individual than we had even in the past. But I don't think we're there right now. Like, I think.
So yeah, is it the job?
It's weird. It's like if you were going to be reborn, would it be better for you to be reborn like 50,000 years ago or now? It's like, I don't know.
Well, that's
like for
well, before that's okay, whatever. But what I'd like to think about is you can think about it in terms of changing two different things. You could change what we were starting to talk about is changing the way we behave given that the environment is how it is. Mm-hmm. But you could flip that on its head and say we as a society should be changing our environment, changing our culture to bring us back to to promote these things. So it's like, okay, maybe
like top down.
Yeah, I mean, it's very hard to say how you do that. So I guess rewinding a bit to explain that further, you can force yourself to work out before you eat lunch. And that would probably be good because it's bringing you back to what you would have to do 100,000 years ago.
Yeah. Sure.
But our environment isn't designed to promote that activity. It's designed to put,
have you sit down.
To have all of the food in one place, either a restaurant or a grocery store. And it's like, okay, it's all here. It's all convenient.
Right. But like basically nobody in America dies of starvation.
Right.
Like
okay.
I've never been in danger of starving.
What I'm not suggesting is like, okay, let's get rid of grocery stores and just like scatter food randomly in the park, and then we'll all like run around and looking for it. Although that would be freaking awesome.
That would be a great TV show.
Yeah, sure. I guess. I mean, that would just be like a fun, like,
it's just like Survivor,
sport,
though, isn't it?
Like it's like a sport. It's like an Easter egg hunt or something. I don't know. Like, Easter egg hunt for groceries.
But it's only with food.
All right. So, but what I'm saying, I'm not saying like we should do something radical like that. I'm just saying like, are there tweaks? I can't even think of any, but maybe there are some tweaks that we could do to our environment.
I think
to make it. Hold
on.
Maybe there are some tweaks we could do to our environment to make, like if you're designing something like Facebook, you could design it such that it more closely resembles the environment of our past,
right? And
thus promotes more well-being.
Mm-hmm. There's this guy, you might have heard of him, Tristan Harris.
Yeah,
he does all this stuff about like design ethics, so like how companies should design their usually like apps and like user interfaces for like websites and like social medias and stuff to make them ethically sound, right? To make them like ethically responsible. And something he pointed out, like with Facebook tends to be one of the platforms that's really incites people to just get really pissed off. I think Facebook and Twitter are the two that do that the most. But like Facebook is It's just people like posting their opinion and being very angry about it, and then you're like, blah, 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 you know, and then somebody maybe will disagree in the comments, and then everybody, you know, and it was such a simple thing that he recommended that he was like, maybe this would be a way better way to deal with controversy on Facebook. He basically said, if you post a controversial article, right, there's a little button that comes up that says, plan a dinner party where you guys can all discuss this topic, right? And it's a little like overly, you know, idealistic. It's like, oh, you're gonna have a dinner party and just talk about this controversial issue. But it's like, that's something that Facebook never does. I shouldn't say never. Facebook does not emphasize actual interaction.
Yeah.
Facebook never like encourages you like, hey, go see your friend.
Yeah.
Never. It's not incentivized on the platform. It incentivizes you, hey,
because
stay on our website. And
because they have no incentive to.
Well, that's how the ad
right.
Revenue works or whatever. So, but that was like it. Like I saw him, he pointed that out, and I was like, that's so like maybe that's not the best idea, but it's
pointing
so
out
much
something
clearly
that
more social. Like that's a social thing. Like you're really in like having people over to talk about this thing that you found on the internet.
Okay,
That's a way better function of a social media than just posting it and saying, "Oh, this is why I think this." Like,
or even what would be way cooler than that, or maybe not cooler, but more like I could see myself actually doing it.
Okay.
Like I couldn't see myself being like, let's plan an event to talk about this topic.
But I think
but I could, and this would also solve the problem of me leaving the site. I could see myself entering a video call about this topic. Like maybe there's a live Google Hangout where everybody's discussing it. And that's kind of what a live chat is.
But it doesn't have the face-to-face thing. And
well, with the video call, it does.
Right.
So maybe
that could be good.
Like I could see that actually being a thing in the future where video, the actual potential of video calls is taken advantage of. Because like right now,
that's true.
I very rarely video call people for some reason.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I was even thinking like I don't even video call with my parents very often, and like I just use the phone, and I'm like, why do I, you know, it's like...
Yeah, you might as well see them.
I don't know why. It's just kind of like not...
Yeah, video call isn't utilized as much as...
But, I mean, that's irrelevant.
Well,
but it's just like...
Yeah, wow.
That would be an example of making it more like a real life interaction. Is like, okay, in a video call you get 90% of that.
You have a page where it's like you select a topic and then you put in like your basic opinions about it, and then it matches you up with someone that you can video call with, and then you can have a little conversation about, hey, why do you think that? Like, here's why I think this. Like, maybe I can change your mind about this, you know. And for sure, there would be some parts of it that are like some video calls that are just a mess, where it's just people like, hey,
well, so
piece of garbage, like you're dumb, you're wrong,
right.
But there's always a button that you can just hit exit on, and people don't do that face to face nearly as much as they do in talking, in typing. I mean, that's one of the reasons.
Right.
Like that's what I was getting at.
That's nearly as much.
Yeah. That's why there's all these like threats on the internet, is because like you're just typing it. It doesn't.
Yeah. Well,
it's easy. It's anonymous.
What if we think about it in terms of like? Sometimes I think about like, even when we're on Facebook, it doesn't feel like there's people there. It feels like, oh, people were here.
Right.
You know, it's like people were here and they wrote on this wall, and now I see it. Like the next day.
Yeah, it's like later.
But nobody's here. Like, you know, there's people in the chat, but like they're so far away. It's like, yeah, I could call them on the phone, but like it's the same thing as calling them on the phone. It's like I can always call anybody on the phone, but like it doesn't feel like they're there in my pocket.
Right.
You know, or in my phone. But like, what if there was a service that was more like that? And Skype kind of got close to that, where it's like, oh, your friend's online, and you're like, oh, I'll talk to my friend because he's online at the moment.
Right.
And I remember that having that kind of vibe where it's like, oh, he's online, let me just call him.
Right. But that almost got antiquated
because he's free, you know, because he's clearly just on his computer, probably doing nothing. So let me give him a call. And I used to do that with, you know, with Mike and you and stuff.
I think I missed that. I missed the Skype era a little bit.
Yeah, probably.
I was a little young.
But I mean,
that didn't really resurface the way it did.
But I mean, like, why isn't it more like, okay, if I remember in college, I was like living next to all my friends basically. Mm-hmm. And like, I could just like walk in their room and be like, yo, what's up? And they're like, oh, I'm studying. And I'm like, okay, I'll leave you alone. Right. Or like, you know, like, okay, let's just hang out. And it was like the most organic hangouts would happen that way, where it's just like, okay, let's just chill. Like,
yeah.
And it was so good.
Yeah.
Like if you need somebody to talk to, you kind of just go over to their room and see what they're up to.
Right.
But like you can't do that.
You can't see what people
and there's
are
no
up to.
reason why you can't do that. It's just there's nothing like that.
Well, but at the same time, well, maybe that's just me though.
Like, I'm not saying it would be easy to do. I'm just saying it's feasible to imagine something like that, but it isn't available. You know what I mean?
Right.
And like, it's things like that. I'm not saying this idea is a brilliant idea.
No, but it's
more of like, there are many things in the social world of you and me that have never been replicated or even tried in the internet, you know, in the digital format.
It's pretty,
and there's no reason why they couldn't exist. You know, it's more of like, oh, there's no company, there's no business model that could use that, or it would be hard. It would be hard to do, or there's privacy concerns, or like there's things like that. But like technically, you could probably implement a lot of what we have in our social lives by replicating it on some website.
Yeah, that's interesting. It's really I mean, I tend to be the kind of person who's like, if somebody like, well, that's not always true. But if somebody's like, hey, what do you want to, like, do you want to do something? Usually I'm like your first reaction is like, no, I don't want to do it. Like,
see, I'm the complete opposite.
Really?
If anybody says like, let's do something, I'm like, I'm done. I don't care what it is. I'll do it.
Okay.
Like I'm always down to do something with other people.
That's a good.
No, it's just
I think that's a good trait.
I think it's introvert versus extrovert.
Right.
More so, but like, it's not like bad or worse.
Right.
It's just like, it's not even an option. You know what I mean? Or it feels like it isn't.
Yeah, I know.
Like okay, think of all the times you sit down.
But if somebody texts me and they're like, hey, what are you doing? I'm like, they want me to like do something. But if somebody says, hey, do you want to go do this? There's a subtle difference there. But my reaction is very different.
Well, I think because in person you would act totally different. Because you would just tell them the truth.
You'd just be like,
You'd be like, I don't want to. I'm busy.
You'd be like, I don't really want to.
You don't have to be like, I'm gonna make up some excuse.
I'm eating lunch.
Because like, I don't know, over text, there's kind of like this delay that's weird that doesn't happen in real life.
Yeah.
And like, there's also tone of voice.
That's true.
And there's like,
the delay is interesting.
You know, they can see that you're busy. Like if I'm currently doing my homework, nobody's gonna walk up to me and be like, hey, you want to go eat ice cream? They're gonna just like leave me alone. But like on the internet, you always assume everybody's busy doing their homework when really 90% of the time they're just dicking around like, I got nothing, you know. But think of it like this: how often are you watching YouTube alone? Like when you're on YouTube, like 99% of the time, it's just you and YouTube.
Right.
Why? There's a million people watching YouTube.
Terrible,
There's a million people watching that video. There's probably some of your friends watching that type of video right now. Like,
right.
You could be watching the video with 5 of your friends in the Google Hangout.
Right.
Like, there's no reason why you couldn't. That's what you would prefer to do.
Yeah.
It's like, what? Like, You know?
Yeah.
And I would even pay to do that. Like, hell's yeah. You know what I mean? Like, it's just...
I don't know.
Maybe that's coming. Maybe...
That would be good, I think.
maybe internet speeds are catching up to where that's, like, reasonable to have everybody in a video chat at once in the world. Like, you know what I mean?
Oh.
Well, because that's what you're saying.
See, then you're going to have all these bots that look like real people, like we were talking about.
Whoa.
With the synthetic face models.
Yeah.
Then you're not going to know who's who. Like, hey, is that you? It's like, yes.
Well, I was thinking it more like it'd be like in the context of a social network. Like, you only hang out with your friends. Like, you have to friend them first. You can just be like chat roulette, where it's like,
no,
doesn't work because of sexuality. You know, like but if it's your friends, then it's the verified people's names and stuff.
Right. I don't know, man. Yeah, that's interesting though, to look at how social medias are just failing to connect with the way you actually work.
Yeah.
Like, how do you actually interact with people? It's like, well, not like this, you know what I mean?
Right.
Not like how...
Right. Yeah,
Or it's almost like they're trying to merge the two mediums. The mediums of, like, sending letters, like email.
Right.
They're, like, merging that with, like, conversation.
Yeah, it's like, no.
There's a disconnect there, and it's in the important spot, you know? It's like failing exactly where it needs to work.
Right. Instead of being like the combined best of both worlds, it's like half of the best of writing letters and or maybe it's just like really good letter writing. That's what it is.
That's really what it is.
Like all of social media
but it's
is just writing letters.
People treat like conversations.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? Like you're texting someone and you're like, oh, this is like I'm talking to them. You say, oh, I'm talking to my friend right now, but you're not. You're sending them letters.
You're sending them letters, which is totally different than talking.
Totally different. Because they can go back and they can reread exactly what was said.
Yeah.
And they might, and that means they'll be thinking about what was said instead of what you're going to say.
And they can't see what you're doing.
Can't see what you're doing.
They can't see what your face looks like. They can't hear your voice.
They can't hear you complain to your friend you're with.
Yeah.
That you're super annoying and you can't stop texting them. You know, like,
Dang, now I'm going to think about that. Like, every time I send a text, it's like I'm sending a mini letter.
Lol.
Lol. 3-letter letter.
Okay. It's a letter.
It's a 1-letter letter.
All right, man.
Yeah, I mean... We opened up some big cans of worms there and just left them out on the floor.
There's worms all over my apartment.
Well, that was fun. I think we're gonna dive into these topics a lot more in the future. Social media, like lifestyle. I think that's what we're really interested in. Is like lifestyle stuff.
What are you doing? How are you spending your time?
Yeah, and
why?
What are you doing with your life, man? You know, figuring it out.
I feel like that's an important thing to consider.
Yeah.
What are you doing with your life?
Yeah, man? So if you're listening, you can leave that in the comments, and maybe we'll talk about it, and get some perspective.
Yeah.
So thanks for listening, everybody. It's good to have you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
This has been the first episode of season 1 of the Martuscello audio show.
Yeah, that's right.
All right. Peace.
Later. That's pretty good. I like that better.
David, what is this show about?